and welcome to today's webcast, Data-Driven Marketing. My name is Kayla Scully, and I'm joined by my colleague, Laura Kolstad. We are both business intelligence and analytics consultants, and today we're presenting from our Philadelphia office. As we look to get started, let's kick off with a review of today's agenda. First, we're going to give an introduction to Thorogood and talk a little bit about our experience in business intelligence and analytics. We will then give an introduction to data-driven marketing and talk about its value for an organization, and we'll walk you through a case study to illustrate those points. Next, we will walk you through a use case and provide a demo. We will review some best practices for effective data-driven marketing, and then we will also explain the recent implementation of the California Consumer Privacy Act. Lastly, we will talk about next steps for an organization hoping to get started with data-driven marketing. Let's begin with an introduction to Thorogood. For those of you who don't know Thorogood, we are an independent global professional services firm specializing in business intelligence and analytics strategies, solutions, and services with a keen focus on our customers. We're a global company with offices in New York, Philadelphia, London, Bangalore, India, Singapore, and Sao Paulo, Brazil. All of our consultants are recruited and trained in the same way to develop a unique mix of skills, blending business understanding in the form of industry and functional experience with a strong technical aptitude and deep understanding of analytical tools and techniques. We offer a full range of BI and analytics services, including strategy and roadmaps, requirements, design, implementation, and training and support. In terms of the technologies we work with, we are an independent consulting firm, meaning we don't work with one specific technology. We do, however, work and partner with many of the key players in the market in order to provide our clients with the solutions that best suit their needs. I'm now going to give an introduction to what data-driven marketing is and the potential value that it can provide. So what is data-driven marketing? Many companies have large volumes of data that they collect internally or purchase from third parties. By adopting a data-driven marketing strategy, we can take advantage of this data to understand and draw conclusions on how our marketing campaigns are currently performing, as well as how to improve upon them in the future. Using data as a driver, we can better understand the ways in which customers or potential customers interact with our content, use this understanding to categorize or segment our audience in order to tailor our content to particular groups, capitalize on our more streamlined mapping of content and messaging to customer segments to get the most value from our dollars of advertisement spend, and finally, more clearly see our advantages and gaps across the market to potentially help steer a product innovation pipeline. We start with data coming from a variety of sources, which are either first, second, or third-party data sources. First-party data is data that you collect directly from your audience. Second-party data is first-party data collected by a second party that you can purchase. And third-party data is data that has been collected, anonymized, and is then sold by a vendor. A crucial step is then ingesting, mapping, organizing, and enriching this data, followed by visualizing the data in a meaningful way so that we can better understand the underlying insights. We've seen organizations use a variety of tools for this, but it's important to make sure that the architectural decisions fit well with your organization's data strategy. This allows for alignment with existing internal data, both for the enrichment of your marketing analysis with data like sales or shipments, and for the enrichment of other reporting throughout the business with your marketing insights. And finally, the final step is to actually do something with these insights. The value of your marketing analysis is only actualized when the results are understood and incorporated into business practices. So now that I've explained what data-driven marketing is, let's talk about what its value is. There's a quote from 1916 from John Wanamaker, which states that half the money spent on advertising is wasted. The trouble is knowing which half. In an age of digital transformation where there's more data available than ever, this quote is still relevant to advertising and marketing today. One of the biggest challenges all companies face is addressing the internal challenge of understanding what is working and what is not working. So how can you begin to deconstruct and understand how to realize an ROI on your investments? Using all of the different types of data sources to their full potential allows you to understand the nature of the audience and their engagement with your content, which can provide insights into future campaigns that can be turned around in real time. By obtaining a better understanding of your audience, you have the ability to personalize the customer experiences as well as predict and forecast customer trends for the future, rather than assume. By gaining visibility into what content your consumers are most actively engaging with, you can identify ineffective marketing messages and make the appropriate improvements.
By identifying the sources that are bringing in the bulk of your engagements from your target audience, you can focus on spending on effective channels to maximize future consumer engagements and capitalize on existing budget. The world is at a point where you have to be a lot faster at iterating and refining marketing messages in response to customer feedback. When you have the ability to measure and improve your marketing in real time, you can make tangible links between your marketing and sales activity and take immediate action to ultimately maximize your marketing impact and return on investment. You can waste a lot of time and money, for example, in social media advertising, if you're investing in sponsorships that are ineffective and in which the targeting is wrong and therefore conversions are low. The more you can use your data, the better you can understand, target, and engage your audiences to see if your marketing content is actually resonating with them. You can then take a step further and use the data to tweak that very same content to continue within this closed-loop marketing cycle and improve the future of your marketing.
Thanks, Laura. I'll now go into a real-life case study highlighted by Google Analytics, which exemplifies the benefits of data-driven marketing. Sprint is the fourth largest network operator in the U.S. and provides wireless services to over 50 million customers. One of Sprint's subsidiary brands is Boost Mobile, a brand tailored toward a young and middle-income audience. Sprint believes the Boost Mobile customer is looking for value, simplicity, and reliability in their wireless service. Sprint's original marketing goal was to build awareness for the Boost Mobile brand and drive online sales. The team created campaigns and paid search and display mostly focused on last-click customers, those who shopped on the website but didn't actually make a purchase. They realized these campaigns were efficient but thought they could do more. They began to realize the driver of growth could lie in scaling their campaigns to reach customers who are in the market for a Boost Mobile phone but had not visited the website. By using data acquired from Google Analytics, they were able to scale their marketing campaigns to capture those earlier stage customers. Using a data-driven marketing model, the Sprint in-house digital marketing team began to reevaluate its mid and upper funnel digital marketing tactics such as programmatic display, paid search, and shopping. They then developed a custom model with the data to assign conversion value to marketing touchpoints along the customer's buying journey. They started to review effective cost per acquisition for both channel and ad type in order to shift investment to partners with the strongest eCPAs to maximize digital sales from each digital media dollar invested. Since using this data-driven marketing model, Sprint's in-house marketing team generated 39% more web conversions than the previous year with the same media investment level. To continue on this positive growth trajectory, the digital marketing team continues to evaluate which acquisition channels have the strongest influence for their particular customer base. They also review an investment scorecard every 2 weeks to evaluate ROI and shift their investments if necessary.
So now that Kayla and I have walked you through basically the introduction and value and also gave an example of data-driven marketing, we're going to walk you through a use case and demo to show you what this actually looks like in practice. So we are going to review a live demo showcasing a manufacturing company in the CPG space. Their top performing products fall within the household cleaning, deodorants, and oral care portfolios. They recently ran 5 different marketing campaigns, each promoting specific brands of deodorant, household cleaning product, laundry detergent, shampoo, and toothpaste. So the marketing team is looking to analyze how effective their recent campaign efforts have been across both old and new customer segments. They've been collecting website traffic data from Google Analytics, first-party data using Salesforce, and Adobe Analytics to enhance their website information with PII tags. They land and store the data in their data lake environment, which is AWS's S3 storage. Next, they use Databricks to automate and dynamically map as much of the campaign, user, and media data together as possible. This reduces the amount of manual effort that needs to be invested across the team to create and maintain the mappings. SQL and Python are used in Databricks to perform the necessary data cleansing transformations and create the algorithms for dynamic mapping. Once the data is clean and normalized, it is ready for reporting. The team also uses the Databricks environment to run R scripts that are used to generate future target consumer segment models by applying statistical methods to historical data. Finally, the data is extracted and reported on in Tableau for the end user to visualize and understand the insights from the campaigns that were run. This dashboard is published for the wider marketing groups to see and use, which we will now take a closer look at. In this first dashboard, here we have the digital marketing dashboard. Google Analytics and Salesforce data is used to produce visuals, aiding in understanding at a higher level view of what this company's online website traffic looks like. So here you have KPIs on the left, which allows users to draw quick insights into how their overall marketing campaigns are drawing users to their websites by indicating things like, here we have total number of website sessions across all campaigns and the average amount of time spent on their website by a user within a session. Moving on to the visuals, in the user by traffic sources and activity by location, this company is able to combine Google Analytics data and Salesforce data to determine where their website visitors are coming from in terms of sources online as well as geographically. Another way in which users can be broken out into is for analysis is by this new versus returning user, which is basically analyzing the number of visitors who have never visited your website before versus the number who have. This dashboard also tracks marketing performance to actual targets by looking at conversion rate and determining which campaigns are hitting targets and which are not. Finally, in the bottom visual, the ability to look deeper into which campaigns are driving your total sessions can be determined and analyzed alongside the campaign conversion visual to see, for example, that even though campaign 2 may be drawing a lot of traffic to your website, it is actually underperforming in terms of conversion compared to these other campaigns. This example here highlights the importance of understanding and comparing multiple marketing metrics and KPIs in order to have a clearer view of which marketing campaigns or tactics are actually the most effective and bringing in the most customers. Next, we're going to move on to this segment engagement, segment analysis dashboard. In this second dashboard, the use of Adobe tags have allowed this company to explore beyond where their users are coming from and see how different groups of potential customers, called segments, are engaging within a given campaign. Using this information, the company can shape future campaigns based on which segments are engaging the most and improve upon those with lesser engagement. In this case, the different types of engagement include email opens, email clicks, subscriptions, and display clicks, which is basically a user that has interacted with a banner ad. All of these engagement metrics can be summed to an overall engagement value that can be explored across segments for a specific campaign. So if you look at the top here, we have 3 filters. There's a drop-down that allows users to filter by campaign, month, and product. In this case, we selected campaign 4, which means that this drop-down filters across the entire dashboard, so all visuals are specific to campaign 4. In this top visual, engagement over time, the deeper shading of the rectangles refers to a segment at a certain point in time, indicating a greater engagement. So here, when we see a darker color, this indicates that the chemical-free segment in April had a higher engagement relative to other segments overall month. As this campaign was being run for a chemical-free deodorant, it's understandable that this group of potential consumers would engage with the campaign at a higher level than others. However, as many other segment engagements seems relatively low, this company may want to look to see how they can improve in the future to increase engagement across these segments as well. This segment engagement visual on the right shows a holistic view of the campaign across all months, revealing that the segment chemical-free has engaged the most users across all of these months. The visual on the bottom right, segments by engagement, shows which segments are above or below average in terms of display click engagement and email click metrics. While looking at the segment brand loyalists specifically, it is interesting to note that this segment is engaging above average in terms of display clicks, but below average for email clicks. This may inform the company's marketing team that if they are looking to bring in more engagement from brand loyalists, they may want to look at the content of their marketing emails that could be currently deterring potential customers from this segment from further engaging. The final visual on the bottom left, users and engagement by segment, again breaks out the different segments across campaign 4 and analyzes how total users and the overall engagement rates compare. So you can see in this plastic reduction segment, they have a relatively greater number of total users. However, their engagement rate, which is indicated by this circle, is the lowest of all segments. While many users of this segment may be interested in actively visiting your website, the marketing content for this campaign, such as display ads, are not driving as much engagement as it is for other segments. This is an area where the company may want to improve for future campaigns, as there are potential plastic reduction customers on their website who could be interested to engage further if the right marketing content is actually presented to them.
Now that we've explored some use cases, we wanted to also highlight best practices that we've seen across many of our customers in rolling out and scaling up robust data-driven marketing solutions. Often, companies are comprised of groups that work in silos, and as a result, they may struggle to house and standardize all of the different marketing data sets that they own in one single location. As a result, certain areas of the business may have a different marketing strategy than another group and have difficulty analyzing the effectiveness of certain methods over others. You are limited in how you can use your data by how well it is mapped. By single data strategy, we don't mean one enterprise, but we mean one enterprise data architecture for data ingestion, staging, warehousing, and modeling. This does not mean that you can't use different tools for modeling and ingestion. It just means that they have to be able to connect and talk to each other. By using data architecture, you can allow for different tools to be used consistently. Implementing data governance standards throughout the organization allows you to obtain better returns on investments for data sets purchased and the cost of housing large quantities of data. It can also give you a greater ROI on your overall marketing, since you'll have a fuller picture with all of your data in one place. It's also important to sit with the business to understand their needs and concerns, since making these changes could mean multiple people and groups within the organization might have to change the way that they work. Internally collected data, including consumer information, financial spending, products supplied, shipment metrics, and more, can be useful when used wisely and in combination with other types of data. When used alongside purchase data sets, such as industry market data, you can reveal insights that wouldn't be available when analyzing either data set alone. However, these solutions are only as effective as the quality of the master data mapping. For master dimension data, it is important to maintain a single source of truth to ensure everyone is using the same data when making their business decisions. You may also decide to create a new data governance lead in your organization who can work cross-functionally. There are also algorithms that can be used to eliminate manual human effort on data mapping and there are tools available that can help with this, like Databricks, for example. Additionally, the use of data governance ensures reference data mappings are maintained. Since data vendors can change formats or values with no notice, it's important that appropriate quality checks are in place that would result in necessary updates. Growing your first-party database can have a positive impact on data-driven marketing. The data belongs to you. You have total control over it. People must opt out in order to be removed. You don't have to spend money to keep getting information on people once they've opted in, and it is the lowest cost data set. The larger the first-party database, the more insights you can leverage from your third-party data. Also, when a large amount of your data is from third-party sources, there are dependencies on that third-party vendor, like the costs and the changing of what the purchase data looks like. Some methods of expanding your first-party database can include sampling different marketing techniques and recording engagement, analyzing rich consumer groups in your database for patterns and trends. You can then use this information to build more accurate segments. By thinking about what resonates with this group, this information can also be used to target untapped market areas. Personally identifiable information, PII, is any data that could potentially identify a specific individual. There are various ways to ensure that this data is kept secure so that you can continue to use it to drive your marketing. One way of effectively managing PII data includes real-time application program interfaces, APIs. Real-time APIs instantly push data to endpoints. This means the data will be going right where you need it without any intermediate steps. There are also ways of authenticating API traffic to enforce even more security. Additionally, by having a single landing location from your data source, you can better manage the PII data. It is best practice to implement secure transmission technologies like encryption. This ensures that only the right people have access to this sensitive data. A secure file transfer protocol, or SFTP, ensures that data is securely transferred using a private and safe data stream. If you have to use an SFTP, you also want to be sure that it's hosted in a secure location. For management of PII data in particular, you will want to do a thorough risk assessment and ask yourself the following questions. How is the data ingested? Are there any vulnerabilities? You want to make sure that you really are understanding the flow of your data. What parts of data storage and ingestion are automated? Are there any manual dependencies? Who has access to the system and how is this access controlled? If a new channel for ingesting data is introduced, like new Adobe tagging, a new product sampling program, or the introduction of direct-to-consumer sales, How does the PII data get collected and ingested? And how will you account for these changes? Is the PII data that gets sent to companies like Facebook, Google, or Amazon for advertising secure? Recently, hackers infiltrated a big Facebook data partner, LiveRamp, to launch scam ads. Many hackers try to use PII data that are used for marketing purposes to exploit people and steal their information. This is another important consideration when handling PII data. There are also legal considerations to take note of when handling PII data, one being the recently implemented California Consumer Privacy Act. The California Consumer Privacy Act is a state statute intended to enhance privacy rights and consumer protection for residents of California, which was enacted on January 1st of this year. It's similar to the General Data Protection Regulation in the EU. It allows California consumers more control over the collection of their personal data by giving them the ability to view the data collected on them, delete identifiable data, you can still keep the anonymized data surrounding that person, and also opt out of data collection altogether. The California Consumer Privacy Act allows any California consumer to demand to see all of the information a company has saved on them, as well as a full list of all the third parties that data is shared with. They can choose if they want this data to be deleted. In addition, the California law allows consumers to sue companies if the privacy guidelines are violated, even if there is no privacy breach. This affects all companies that serve California residents and have at least $25 million in annual revenue. It also affects companies of any size that have personal data on at least 50,000 people or that collect more than half of their revenues from the sale of personal data. Companies don't have to be based in California or have a physical presence there to fall under this law. They don't even have to be based in the U.S. An amendment made in April exempts insurance institutions, agents, and support organizations as they are already subject to similar regulations under California's Insurance Information and Privacy Protection Act. To ensure your data-driven marketing strategies are as effective as possible while also complying with data privacy and CCPA standards, we want to discuss some possible steps that can be taken given our experiences with some past clients. So looking forward, next steps. First, assess your current data storage and organization situation. What data sources are being used? Where is the data being used? How is all of your data fitting together? Who has access to what data? What else is needed to complete the entire picture? We talked about some considerations for sensitive data sources. How are those being handled? Next, you will want to organize your data so that you can actually use it. Align any new data sources you want to incorporate, map existing data, and enrich your data. If sensitive data is not being handled properly, you want to make sure that it is. Consider instilling a master data management strategy, which is the effort made by an organization to create one single master reference source for all critical business data, which leads to fewer errors and less redundancy in business processes. You can also automate processes to decrease the amount of manual human effort by developing algorithms and configuring ETL processes. It's important that these are flexible so that they can handle changes in purchased data sources and scalable so that they can handle influxes of data. Lastly, once you've made the data usable, you want to make it available and consumable to the organization as a whole. Developing visualizations like the dashboards that we showed earlier, or data models, can also help business users draw insights that will drive decisions. This is an iterative process. As things change and the business grows, you will need to reassess and reevaluate. The quality of your data-driven marketing is only as good as the structure and organization of your data and its adaptability and scalability. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.